What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the house. If only I spent as much time on my content as I did on the memes that I'm putting in the community tab, boys. We might be getting somewhere a lot further. But let's go ahead and get into some brand new cards instead of that nice, fine, high-quality video editing. We've got a couple of awesome announcements through a commercial. I really wish that Konami TCG would catch on to these marketing campaigns. Konami Europe's kind of got that interaction level where they put some FAs up on Facebook and they're like, hey, if you give us some likes, we'll give you some card effects. But I really like this where they make us have to pay attention to their media and commercials in the OCG to see new cards. I would really like to see that with TCG exclusives and releasing their effects that way. That would be really awesome, something to kind of look forward to and kind of just figuring it out at the last moment and that sort of stuff, especially from leaks, if you remember the Vendreads, I believe, with the last set. So let's go ahead and get into them. There will be two Gokis later. Their effects aren't yet known, but we have Giant Ogre and the Sword when we have a chance. So Link 1 Wind Machine Link Effect Monster. We've got a Sky Striker, a brand new Wind Sky Striker in Cybernetic Horizon. So the core set is going to continue to give support to these Sky Strikers, it seems. Maybe we'll keep getting like one of these per sets as we fill out the attributes. It really isn't clear, but already it's looking a bit better than Magical. It's the fact that they're actually going to continue to give support to the Sky Strikers over time. So an attack of 1500, Link is bottom left. Materials, one non-wind Sky Striker Ace monster, so any of them that's not herself, it would seem right now. You can only special summon one Sky Striker Ace Hayate per turn. If this card can attack directly, but I believe it's like 1500 like the rest of them. I don't know that it'll show up. Yeah, it's 1500. You'll have to take my word for it or go to the article linked below. And the second effect, at the end of damage calculation, if this card battled, you can send one Sky Striker card from your deck to the graveyard. So you fill your graveyard with more spells to get the effects of spells off. You guaranteed get that one, that extra push in case you didn't open something like Toon Table of Contents. And you can resource your graveyard later with certain cards. I think this is not bad, not bad. And it's any Sky Striker card, period. So that includes monsters if you have some kind of revival in your hand or something like that. I respect it. It's decent. I don't know that it's going to break that archetype that's already pretty good. But if you've been playing Sky Strikers, tell me what you guys think about this card. Because honestly, I think the deck's really good. So any tool, especially an attack direct tool, seems pretty good for them. Just let me know what you guys think about this. Like, what do you plan to do with the deck? The second card is more generic and very exciting to me. World Legacy World Crown, a level 6 Dark Machine effect monster with attack 2000 and defense 2000. Those are pretty beefy stats for a card that can special summon itself. You can only special summon this card with its first effect of this card's name once per turn, and you can only use the third effect of this card's name once per turn. So it's a hard once per turn on the effects of the first effect and the third effect. The second effect you can use multiple times, but you would have to have multiple of them out. Or revival cards. You can special summon this card from your hand to the main monster zone that a Link monster points to in defense position. So it just pops out real easy. Your opponent can give you Link monsters. You can give yourself Link markers. It's really, really easy to get this out in a typical game of Yu-Gi-Oh! As long as you're not under like some kind of stun deck. The second effect, when a monster on the field that was special summoned from the extra deck activates an effect, you can tribute this card, negate the activation, and destroy that card. This card battles back against cards like Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon and other such cards that are on the field to make their presence, like Hope Harbinger from the extra deck, and try to lock fields down. Basically, all you have to do is get one Link pointer, bring this bad boy out, and you are now countering the opponent going second. That's pretty darn good. And it's also level 6, which will work with one of our next cards that we're going to show off. But just take in these first two effects. Those are pretty good. The third effect, if this normal summon card is tributed, you can add one World Legacy spell/trap card from your deck to your hand. Now, I know everybody thinking of Layer of Darkness. Oh my gosh, it says tributed. Whoa! But, it's already a dark monster too. You gotta tribute summon him out in the first place. Most people aren't going to waste their setup on something like that. I get that, like, you could Seraphinite, tribute summon this, then tribute this for something else. That's using a lot of your normal summons for things that aren't like Agent of Venus or things that you really want to get out there. But it is what it is. I don't think it's the best tribute summon, and then you've got a tribute on top of it just to get one World Legacy spell or trap. Now, there are very good World Legacy spell and trap cards that you could put in to make searchable, but you'd rather search them than hard draw them. My opinion, the first two effects, really broken. Third effect, I guess it's a bonus effect for those who might be thinking of using it in some way, shape, or form, or have the ability to use it. I'm still more of a fan of the first two effects by far. And I'm excited to continue to see more Sky Strikers. Let's get into the third card that's amazing generic draw power in essence. When I say generic, it means any deck that's going to play monsters of a certain level. More heavenly draw cards await you in Cybernetic Horizon. We've got Celestial Sextant. Ooh, don't get too hot at that word. It's a normal spell card. You can only activate one of these per turn. So, yeah, you're not going to go turboing off with these in any deck. It seems like they've really learned to make most draw cards once per turn at Konami. I've got to say, good job for that. Return one level 6 monster from your hand or that is face up on your side of the field to the bottom of its owner's deck. Draw 2 cards. So if you're able to, like, steal one of your opponent's monsters with Borolo Dragon or something like that, you still get the effect by returning it to your opponent's deck. And you don't end up shuffling the deck either is somewhat important. So if you're able to use cards perhaps that stack cards to the top of your deck, like, and you know what's on top and you want to draw it, this could be pretty good in those kinds of decks. But it's at the cost of a level 6. So people are saying malicious. Obviously, with malicious, more often than not, you want to end up actually getting that card down to like the graveyard. You don't want to end up drawing it again. So putting it on the bottom is cute, but D-draw is typically better for something as specific as malicious. But I guess in decks where you already couldn't put D-draw in, you're trying to send malicious to the graveyard, you bounce it back, send another, and use the final one as the link material. I could see it, but typically you want to keep using maliciouses for link summons, in my opinion, rather than having to get it back to the graveyard and then doing that. I'm kind of short-sighted on a lot of the decks you'd want to play this in, besides maybe fixing Blue Eyes hands. But then how many of these do you run, because it's a hard once per turn? Let me know what decks you're thinking of off of the bat, because there are a lot of decks with high levels, but how many could play multiple of these? How many could, you know, sit on them for turns? It's a bit rough. Actually getting this off. I mean, the True King / Dracos have a lot of high levels as well. It's an awkward draw card. Every single draw card that comes out, people go, oh, it's so good, it's so powerful, and it's like, for me, it's gonna just that hard once per turn with its effect. It can level out a lot of hands. It can do really good for them, but it's an awkward card at multiples, because you don't want to continuously send back all those cards. You want to actually end up using some of them that you end up getting. So maybe there's decks that create free advantage by getting cards. Like Blue Eyes does that. They get free Blue Eyes to their hands, and shuffling a Blue Eyes back in the deck, definitely not the worst thing in the world. So that's kind of the deck that starts sticking out in my mind. They already have consistency issues, and sometimes you just don't draw your high-level monsters. You draw all your low-level monsters, so this could make those hands even more awkward as well. But I think overall, Blue Eyes is what starts churning in my mind with this card. What about you guys? So, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a thumbs up. Also, do hit the notification bell. I hate saying that one, but apparently this won't go out to everybody unless you start belling it. So we're in 2018 and we're ringing bells again. It's weird out here. And be sure to check the community tab once in a while. I'll have another meme up later today. I'm kind of bad with Twitter, and I really like the YouTube community tab. So that's where I've been posting most of my memes. Promise to have another spicy one for you guys later today. If only I truly did spend as much time on this content as I did with the memes.